This is Shir 44 in our series on Avodas Habitachon. Tonight we initiate an advanced evaluation into the complex psychological and hashkafic framework governing hakaras hatoiv, gratitude. Specifically, we must analyze the exact midah and attitude a Habitachon is mandated to maintain toward human messengers who execute favors or deliver goodness to them, given that the underlying benefit was already completely predetermined and decreed by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Chovos HaLevavos introduces this sugya by quoting a profound puzzling inquiry raised by one of the ancient Hasidim. He noted that it appears highly paradoxical that Ruvain can physically hand over a benefit to Shimon, a resource that was already decreed from Shemayim to reach Shimon from the outset, and subsequently Ruvain will explicitly mention the favor he performed, expecting Shimon to praise and thank him for the act. The commentaries on the Chovos HaLevavos unwrap this problem, delivering an incredible analytical twist. From a psychological standpoint, this conundrum actually hits the receiver of the benefit far harder than the giver. It is easily understandable why the human giver falls into self-deception. The physical mechanism of his labor naturally tricks his mind into harboring a secular illusion of koichi v'otzim yadi, my strength and the might of my hand. It is the base of nature of an unrefined person to automatically become haughty over the individual to whom he delivers a gift, aggressively seeking out social prestige, validation, and praise as a reward for his intermediary action. To address the receiver's perspective, a powerful school of classical thought establishes that gratitude must be directed exclusively and entirely to the master of the universe, viewing the human intermediary as completely passive, zero-causal channel. This perspective is systematically codified in the work of the Sefer Tamid, authored by the Rebbe of the Meiri. Analyzing the Tefillah of Nishmas Kol Chai, he focuses intently on the absolute parameter of the phrase L'cha levadcha anachnu moedim. To you exclusively and alone we give thanks. The Sefer Tamid rules that from a pristine hashkafic baseline, it is fundamentally improper to allocate primary thanksgiving and praise to flesh and blood intermediaries. Gratitude belongs solely and unshareably to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because he stands as the exclusive prime cause behind every single occurrence in reality. A person is duty-bound to elevate their consciousness past the human channel, reserving their praise entirely for the one who preceded all reality and engineered all of creation. This exclusive divine focus is forcibly reinforced by Rav Shmuel Haminer in his masterwork Sefer Eved HaMelech. Leveraging an explicit passage in the Sifri, the Torah records the mandate of the Kahanic blessings, capped by the divine summary, V'ani avorachem, and I will bless them, by Midbar 6:27. The Sifri uncovers a vital legal boundary within this text. HaKadosh Baruch Hu explicitly states V'ani avorachem to prevent Klal Yisrael from stumbling into the catastrophic error of assuming that the flow of their physical blessing is dynamically generated or controlled by the personal power of the Kohanim. Concurrently, this warning targets the Kohanim themselves. They are strictly forbidden from harboring an arrogant thought that their lips are the source of the nation's prosperity. Rav Shmuel Haminer rules that this stands as a fundamental, non-negotiable principle of Emunah. A person must never attribute independent causal power to any created messenger. A person shouldn't say so-and-so gave me, and vice versa, he shouldn't say I gave so-and-so. Rather, we should attribute everything to the source of it all, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Despite this theological purity of exclusive divine praise, we must now confront an explicit, fierce counter-source in the Gemara that mandates human gratitude. The Gemara is in Baba Kama, Daf Tzadik Beis Amud Beis, 92b, records a direct legal dialogue where Rava addresses Rabbi Bar Mori, Menohan Milsa the Amri Rabbanon Chamra Lemore Tivvasa L'Sharkoye. What is the scriptural source for the common proverb that people say the wine belongs to the master, but the drinkers standardly show gratitude and say thank you to the waiter who pours it? Rabbi Mari answers that the source is rooted directly in the formal transition from the leadership in Parshas Pinchas by Midbar 27:18, where Hashem instructs Moshe, "Samachta es yadcha alav," and you shall place your hand upon him. The Torah explicitly records that Yeshua ben Nun became filled with the spirit of wisdom strictly because Moshe Rabbeinu had physically laid his hands upon him, ensuring the nation would accept his new sovereignty. The Gemara uncovers an explicit pshat. The Torah itself chose to assign credit and praise directly to Moshe Rabbeinu as the intermediary who generated Yeshua's greatness, rather than recording it as a direct unmasked gift from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This demonstrates that practicing Hakaras HaTov to human channels is a proper Torah-sanctioned way to behave. The Gra, inside his definitive commentary Be'urei Agados, rules with absolute clarity on this Gemara. An individual is completely halachically bound to extend sincere gratitude and honor even to a messenger who has entirely forced and decreed by heaven to deliver that specific benefit. To seamlessly harmonize this seeming contradiction between the Sefer HaTamid's demand for exclusive divine gratitude and the Gemara's mandate for human thankfulness, we turn to the master synthesis unraveled by Rav Shmuel Haminer inside his Sefer Eved HaMelech in Parshas Vayigash, Perek 33, Ois Aleph. He constructs an elegant kavachomer to map out our required mindset. If the common proverb dictates that we are required to extend a curse of Torah to the minor waiter who standingly pours the wine at the dinner, then logically executing that act of gratitude must immediately awaken an even more intense astronomical level of thankfulness to the Melech, the king who actually owns the wine. We extend sincere gratitude to human shliach because we recognize that the individual must have possessed a distinct spiritual merit, a zechus, inside their soul to render them worthy of being selected by Shemayim to serve as a conduit for Hashem's goodness. Rav Shmuel Haminer rules that honoring the human channel serves as a profound psychological training mechanism. By forcing yourself to articulate gratitude to the visible shliach, your mind is systematically trained to appreciate, evaluate, and connect to the ultimate true giver who stands behind all human messengers. This uncovers the inner anatomy of Chazal's ironclad severe psychological law. Anyone who denies or squashes the gratitude he owes to his human friend will ultimately find himself denying the goodness he receives from the omnipresent. An individual who lazily trains his mind to be ungrateful to people is damaging his capacity for recognition entirely. He will inevitably become blind to the unceasing gifts poured upon his soul daily by Kadosh Baruch Hu. Summary. The unified definition of our Avodas stands complete. Habitachon extends robust, meticulous Hakaras HaTov to human messengers, honoring the fact that they were selected as a worthy conduit for divine decree. Concurrently, they maintain total internal clarity, refusing to attribute independent causal power to flesh and blood, ensuring their primary ultimate praise remains cleanly anchored in the source of all reality, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Have a wonderful evening.